Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is part 13 of the wig sorting video. I just thought I'd introduce myself for those of you that are new to the channel. I'm Kez. My passion is makeup and wigs, and you'll be seeing a lot of them. I always go over a quick rundown of what makeup I'm wearing just in case you're interested. So my foundation today, it's a moisturising cushion one with a really strange name of Eel Ho. But it's like one of the mushroomy cushion ones, so it usually comes with a sponge, except I applied it today with my brush. It does give a really nice finish and I really like it. I also used the putty primer from Makeup Revolution, which is this one here. It's called Second Skin Primer, and that gives it more of a matte finish, whereas I usually go for a dewy finish. But the reason I did that was for this makeup look that I did today, which, if you can't tell, I've gone back to the 80s. The lipstick is the Rabbit, which is my favourite lipstick from Colourpop. I do believe it's probably discontinued now, which I'm devastated about, but I'm hoping they'll bring it back at some point because I'm running out. The eyeshadow is a combination of palettes that I've used today. I believe they're both Beauty Bay ones that I used. The first one is the New Mood palette, which is this one right here. And then the other one for the blue is from the Coralie palette. And it added just a little bit of the black from the New Mood in the corner as well. And I wanted to give what they call a draped effect to the blusher. Draping is a bit like contouring, only with blush instead of contour. So you take the blush up high on the cheeks, which is very 80s. And I'm using the same brow pomade that I used, which was from Pink Honey, which is in the little pot here. The blushes, again, is a combination. I've got a combination of the lovely P. Louise palette and the darkest shade there that I've been using. You just melt the product into your hand and it puts a nice little balm on the skin. And I also used a little bit of, I can't find it, but a Rimmel one that I added into that. So that's the makeup done for today. And we have 80s earrings courtesy of Shine. The first thing I wanted to show you is a wig that I've done a little bit of adaptation to. So this wig here I got off my friend Leanne. It's a beautiful wig, but it's very poofy. Now this is a Lulabelle's wig. It's not a style I recognise, so whether it's an older style I don't know, but either way I love the wig. But what I'm going to do is a little bit of a transformation, so I'm going to straighten it properly and then come back to it and any edits that I've made and let me know what you think of the after. I think it might be the Pia or Pia, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but I'm not 100% on that because I didn't know. So I have tamed the poofs down now on it a little bit. I've straightened it quite a lot so that those long layers come through on it, which I think is a lot better. I didn't like it when it was so puffy. I love the extra blonde money piece bits in this wig here, which you can see there and there. And there's also some of it running through the underneath here. I don't know if you can just see that poking through there. It's a really pretty wig. Nice, easy one to wear. Nice style. It's straightened really well. I used 140, no higher than that on it, and that was enough to straighten it. And I just used some cheap straighteners I've got that I can change the temperature on, because I keep a separate set of straighteners just for doing my synthetic wigs. So yeah, this one is not going anywhere. This is definitely a keep. I'm going to pop this on my dummy head because I am going out in this one later, and then I will show you some more. This is another hair cube wig that I've got. It's actually quite similar to the one that I've just shown you. It's got the darker roots and it fades into a lighter blonde. I originally got this to do a Buffy the Vampire Slayer cosplay from season 4 when she has the longer hair, and it worked really well for the pictures, which is up on my Instagram, which is Chameleon Makeup, if you want to see what it looked like with the costume. But this is what it looks like on. Now, it's not a lace front, but it is quite a realistic part on this one. And so you don't really need to have like a lace on there and it not look natural. I don't know what they've done to the hairline, but it just looks nice, like it's supposed to. It doesn't look like a wig at all. It has got the longer layers. As I say, it's very similar to the one that I've just put on, but maybe a little bit shorter. That's one of my favourite hair cube wigs. If you wanted a natural look, it does still have the sort of artificial scalp, but this one's actually quite realistic. It's a very similar colour to my own scalp, and that way I think it's undetectable. And we all know how much I hate fake scalps by this point. I wouldn't mind so much if they mimicked a real colour of the scalp, but the problem is most of them don't. They're too white and just a little bit off. I don't know whether it's that they've got more grey in them than pink, but it just never seems the right shade. They're all in hair cube bags, so I'm guessing they are. I know this is a hair cube one. This is a wavy one with darkened roots. It does have a slightly longer fringe. Again, non-lace front. I do have some hair cube lace fronts, but I think there's only about 3. This is when I was starting to try and get into wigs that looked more like hair rather than wigs. But again, it's a side part and it's got long bangs, so you can't actually tell it's a wig, which I really love about this one. It's got really subtle waves and it goes into like an ash blonde as well. So it's a really nice colour. With this wig, it is like an everyday wig, so you could get away with wearing it every day and nobody would probably know the difference. I think it's important to show that in the wigs, because for the people that have alopecia, you might be looking for something that's slightly more realistic rather than some of the cosplay wigs that I've got. And these videos cover all types of wigs, from the fashion ones to the more realistic ones. This was one I got off Shine. I did cut this myself. It's a little white bob with waves, and it had a fringe that was really long, so you could put it to the side. But I cut a fringe into this one because I wanted it with the fringe. And that's what it looks like on. It's kind of like a very white grey almost shade. Oyster, I would probably say, is the closest I can come to the colour. But it's quite retro in its little flicks there. I didn't touch the length. It did come this length. When I saw it on the model, she did have a full fringe with it. When it came, the fringe didn't come like it did on the model, so I've just cut mine myself to match. I've kind of kept it more to a feathery effect because I didn't want it poker straight across there. Every now and then the odd bit falls out that I missed and I just trim it back in. If you've been watching my other videos, you'll know that I bought a lot of wigs, all from the same seller. There was about 6 or 7 in there. The one with the dreadlocks was in it. There was a red one and a blue one and all different ones. And this is one of the others that came with it. Now, the lot wasn't advertised correctly in the fact they were all in boxes for some of the higher end wigs, but they weren't. But I did get them cheap, so I wasn't really fussed anyway. I was just more interested in the actual wigs, which I did see pictures of. The seller was selling them for someone else, so they didn't know anyway that they weren't the sort of monotop wigs, but some of them were. But this one wasn't, but I don't really mind. It's not a lace front, it is more of a cosplay wig, but it's a really nice lilac colour and it's got quite nice waves to it as well. I thought about trimming it, but I kind of like the longer layers on this, and it's not too long. It only comes down to about boob length, so I've left this one as it is. It probably is more of a costume wig, and I would wear it out as a costume, although I have been known to dye my hair all sorts of funny colours, so the chances are people would probably just assume I dyed it. But it's the standard cap, non-lace front. Now, this was an unusual find. I've popped this on the sell and keep pile on and off quite a few times. It's a really nice wig, but I did find that it's a little bit too shiny. I'm still working on ways to get rid of the shine. I don't want to cover it in fabric conditioner like some people do, because I find it actually makes the wigs go greasy. It doesn't seem to work. Whether I use too much, I don't know. So I'm working on trying to use dry shampoo sprays just to knock some of the shine out of it. You can tell that where I've done it, like at the roots, that it isn't as shiny as it was, which is good, and I'm still working on that. I love the colour and I love the style, and if you look very closely, it's got a crisscross, as if it's been sort of crossed over, which is part of the style, and I've never seen another one like that, which is why I eventually decided I didn't really want to part with it. I wanted to keep it, and so I'm just slowly keep adding dry shampoo to it to try and get the shine out. I've now got something else to try, which I will do a video on when I try it. It's actually a hairspray, but it's a matte hairspray. So the idea is that it's supposed to knock shine out and make the style look matte. So I'm interested to see if it will work on the wigs, which is why I bought it. But that will be a video for another time. Another Lush wigs here. This one is a little bit similar, but slightly longer to the red one that I've got. Bellini. Just try and remember the name there. This one is called Amber, and it's got dark roots fading into orange. So this is Amber from Lush Wigs. I love the fringe on this one because although it is that sort of fake scalp kind of fringe, they do tend to get ones that still look quite realistic. I don't know how they do it, but they do. So that's Amber. This is another wig that I got when I was going through my trying to find a Steve from Stranger Things wig. Now this wig was like a gingery colour, but I've actually dyed it with synthetic hair so that it's brown. I will find the perfect Steve wig at some point. This is actually quite a good contender for it because it's slightly longer at the back. It is meant to look like a boy's hair. It is for costume. This was a bargain wig that I got, which was at £5. When I got it, the reason it was sold so cheaply was you could see all the wefts through it. But I really liked the colour, so I wanted to try and do something with it. So what I did, firstly, I took a bit of the hair from underneath and I added wefts into it from the hair that was already there nearer the top, so that it covered up the part that had the loose wefts. I stuck a little bit of hair shampoo in the top in a colour to give it a slightly rooted look, and then I straightened it. I've also cut it as well, and you can see I've cut it into an angled bob. Be careful with the parting because otherwise it shows the cap because it's such a thin wig. You can see there, this is what happens if you don't sit it right. You can see all the wefts, that's why it was so cheap. There might be a way around that by cutting a fringe into it, but I've not attempted that yet. I wanted to see if I could do it without. Generally if you part it there, it doesn't look too bad. But there isn't really a good way of rescuing it, to be honest. So I may sell it on for someone's costume, or I may just try putting a fringe in it first and see if I can rescue it that way. The colour's nice, but it was really just a mess around wig. It was one to try and style. This is another hair cube wig that I got. It's one with combinations of brown in it. This one has got another fringe that you can sweep to one side or cut into a full fringe if you choose to do so. I do personally think it looks better with a full fringe, so I think I'm going to cut the fringe into this one. I love the colours. It starts off in that real dark brown and then fades into, I want to say, a lighter golden brown. It's a really pretty wig. I just think that the part is less noticeable if it's a full fringe. And you can have it that way, but I just find then that they always fall in my face and get on my nerves. So it's probably easier just to remove it. This is a pink one that I bought off someone. Again, this was another few that I bought off the same seller. This one has got roots as well, but I think the roots have been added in by the person because I don't think it should naturally have roots, but it works really well. I'm just wondering if when I wash it again, the roots will come out. A little bit of colour did come out when I washed it the first time, which is what makes me think it's a root spray. But I love the style of this. This is very retro. I've kept the fringe long and messy. It's non-lace front. It's actually perfect for the 80s look that I've got today, surprisingly enough. So I could actually keep that one on instead of the other one. It's really pretty. This is one of my favourite red wigs in the colour, but it was a hard front one. I did cut the hard front out of this, like I've shown you I've done before. But no matter what I put on it, I can't seem to get the scalp to look more like a realistic colour. It comes in a very white shade to it. It also hasn't been very manufactured right, so the bits that you're supposed to put your wig clips into have been sewn up, so you can't actually get them in. So there's a lot of reasons to not keep it, but then when you put it on and you see how lovely the colour is, you can see why I don't want to get rid of it. It's really nice red. I just need to try and fix that scalp. But I don't know what I'm going to do about it there. I seem to have made it a little bold patch on there when I've been trying to pluck it to make it look more realistic. But I think it is workable. I think if I even up the scalp a little bit, and if I can find a colour to put in there to get rid of it, I might try and find some kind of acrylic paint or something like that, because I think it might stick better to the plastic, and just try and see if you can find maybe something like a Games Workshop paint in a natural colour just to put through the scalp, because I'm sure there is something you can do for it, and I don't want to get rid of it. So work in progress again. This one I got for a Beetlejuice costume, so it is cosplay. It's a hard front. I'm not sure what it looked like originally, but the lady I got it from has crimped it all the way through. Now the lady that I got it from is a lady that does stage performances, and so she styles her own wigs as well, which is really nice because you can always get them that are a little bit different from her. It also reminds me of the Trolls, so it is crazy and loud and a little bit insane. Kind of works well with an 80s look though. But yeah, that is definitely one of my costume wigs. This was another from Lush Wigs. The style of wig that came is called Cetus, which is a green. It isn't one that I would have bought myself, but it's another one that I'm really glad that I got, because when I tried it on I loved it. Just I generally don't go for this sort of shade of green, but when it arrived, you can, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but it's got 2 shades of green in it. So there's green, but there's also yellow running through it, which gives it a more natural looking colour to it. I really like that one, which was surprising. I do believe that it might have been discontinued, but they are always coming back, so it's worth looking at. Right, this is a platinum blonde one with a fringe. It's from the same person that I got the bulk lot from. It came in such a big parcel. There were so many wigs in there and it was great. I really enjoyed looking through them all. I do like buying lots with random wigs in, because you never know what you're going to find that you might like. So this is like a white blonde wavy. I'm not sure of the make because it doesn't say. But it's quite a cute little style. It's non-lace front, but the fringe is sort of a side fringe, so it can be movable if you wanted to wear it as a side part or a full fringe. You've got the option there of doing whichever you like with it. It's almost like a creamy blonde. I recently put one up for sale in this sort of shade because I didn't like it, but that was straight and this is wavy. It's one of those that I may still get rid of. I'm not 100% sold on it, to be honest. This is from a wig website called insertnamehere.com. And this is a cosplay wig for Merida from Disney's Brave. And it is big and fluffy like Merida's hair. So it is meant for cosplay, but I kind of like it and I would probably wear it anyway. It would probably take me down a little bit if I was going to wear it on a daily basis. But for the costume, it's perfect because this is exactly what Merida's hair is like. And we've got another non-lace front wig here. I think most of these are my non-lace fronts now. This one has just got the standard hard cap to it. I believe I got this off my friend as well. I think looking at it, it's probably a hair cube wig, although it doesn't say inside. But even though it's a hard front wig, it doesn't matter. It's really pretty. I love the casual waves in this one. Just sort of fall down nicely. And the cap isn't actually too bad, but I might actually cut that so that it looks more natural. I think it's one I could get away with doing. This is another cosplay wig I got off someone. I'm not sure whether I'm going to keep this one or not. It's kind of a pearly pink, but it's very shiny. As I said to you before, I'm not sure whether I like short hair on myself. Although I say that and then I put it on and I actually really like it. So perhaps I will keep it, at least for now. It actually looks different on than it does in photos. When I've worn it in photos before, I've hated it. But it actually looks quite good when you wear it. Never judge a wig by its photo. One more to show you, then we're going to wrap it up for today. This was another cosplay wig I got. I got this to play Beverly from It. If you've not seen it, it's a brilliant film and it is the remake. Her hair, she had it cut short in the film. It started off long and this is how she has it. So it's short and ginger. It's a very unusual style. It's not one that I would have thought would suit. I think it does need the curls redoing a little bit, which is easy enough to do because it is heat resistant. It's by a company on Amazon called Map of Beauty, just in case you're interested. I got this one in a bright orange one, but I sold the bright orange one because it was too bright for the character and I wasn't sure which shade would suit So that is the Beverly wig. So that's the last wig we have for today. Thanks for joining me for another part of going through the wigs. There will be another one up soon, and I hope you'll subscribe and like. I'd love to see in the comments as well which one your favourite wigs are and why you like them. It's interesting to see what other people think. So take care, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.